Have you ever seen someone become the very thing they swore they would never be? It's a chilling transformation, isn't it? A story as old as time. We see it in the grand sweep of history and in the quiet tragedies of personal lives. Think about Germany after World War I, crushed by the Treaty of Versailles. A deep-seated resentment festered. This bitterness became the fertile ground for an ideology that promised to restore national pride, but in doing so, it unleashed a level of brutal oppression and hatred that the world had never seen. The victims of humiliation became the perpetrators of horror. It's not just a historical curiosity. It happens on a deeply personal level too. Think of someone who grew up in a household steeped in prejudice, maybe against a certain group. They spend their youth vowing to be different, to be more open-minded. But then, years later, you hear them echoing the same hateful rhetoric they once despised. Or consider someone with deep-seated, internalized homophobia, who attacks others with a vitriol that's really a projection of their own inner conflict and self-loathing. It's a tragic paradox. The fear of being abandoned can turn someone into the suffocating, controlling partner they always dreaded. The person who loathed their critical parent becomes a parent who constantly criticizes their own child. They look in the mirror one day and see the monster they spent their life running from. So why does this happen? How does this dark metamorphosis take place? The roots are deep in our psychology, in the complex ways our minds try to protect us. One of the key mechanisms is something called projection. This is when we take our own unwanted thoughts, feelings, or impulses and, instead of acknowledging them, we attribute them to someone else. It's a mental hot potato. For instance, a person who is secretly insecure about their own intelligence might constantly belittle others, calling them stupid. Someone struggling with their own dishonesty might relentlessly accuse their friends and partners of lying. They're essentially fighting a shadow of themselves that they've cast onto another person. It's easier to attack the liar out there than to confront the liar within. Then there's cognitive dissonance. This is the intense mental discomfort we feel when our actions clash with our beliefs. Imagine someone who believes they are a good, kind person. But one day, out of fear or peer pressure, they participate in bullying someone. The action, bullying, is in direct conflict with their self-image as a good person. This creates a painful internal tension. To resolve it, the mind has a few options. They could admit they were wrong and apologize, which is often the hardest path. Or they could start to change their beliefs to match their actions. They might start thinking, well, that person deserved it, or they're not like us, so it doesn't matter. They start to adopt hateful beliefs to justify their hateful actions, slowly convincing themselves that their cruelty is warranted. This leads us to another powerful psychological force, the othering effect. Our brains are wired to categorize, to sort things into us and them. It's a primitive survival instinct, but this instinct can be dangerously manipulated. When we label a group of people as the other, we create a psychological wall. They stop being individuals, people with hopes, fears, and families, and become a faceless, monolithic entity. This dehumanization makes it frighteningly easy to direct hatred and aggression toward them. It's the us versus them mentality that has fueled countless conflicts, from tribal wars to modern genocides. Once you see someone as less than human, any cruelty can be justified. You're no longer hurting a person, you're fighting a concept, a threat, a them. This cycle often begins with trauma. Unresolved pain from the past can be a powerful engine for this transformation. When a person endures abuse, whether it's physical or emotional, they are left feeling powerless and terrified. In a twisted attempt to cope or regain a sense of control, some victims unconsciously begin to adopt the behaviors of their abuser. It's a tragic phenomenon known as identification with the aggressor. It's as if their mind thinks, if I can't beat them, I'll become them. Then I'll be the one with the power, and I'll never be a victim again. The child who was terrorized by a bully might grow up to become a bully themselves, inflicting the same fear on others as a way to escape their own lingering feelings of helplessness. There's a specific philosophical term for the venom that fuels this cycle, ressentiment. Coined by the philosopher Nietzsche, it's not just simple resentment. It's a deep-seated, simmering sense of impotence and frustration against something you feel you can't change. This feeling is so poisonous that it inverts your entire value system. You can't achieve what others have, so you declare that what they have, be it success, happiness, or freedom, is actually evil. The source of your frustration becomes demonized. It's the ultimate sour grapes. Your powerlessness creates a worldview where your weakness is spun as moral superiority, and their strength is painted as a corrupting evil. It is a defensive mechanism that turns personal failure into a crusade against the perceived enemy, justifying any level of hatred. So, how do we break this devastating cycle? It starts by looking inward. The journey out of hate is a journey into self-awareness. It means having the courage to confront our own shadows, to acknowledge the parts of ourselves we don't like, our insecurities, our fears, our own potential for cruelty. It's about recognizing the psychological traps of projection, cognitive dissonance, and othering as they happen within our own minds. The antidote to hate is not more hate, it's empathy. It's the conscious effort to see the humanity in others, especially those we attempted to label as them. It's understanding that hurt people often hurt people, and that breaking the cycle means choosing compassion over retaliation. It requires us to examine our own pain and trauma, not so we can use it as an excuse, but so we can heal it and prevent it from poisoning our interactions with the world. By understanding the darkness within ourselves, we can choose to bring light. We can stop the cycle. We can choose not to become the thing we hate. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the human condition. Stay curious and stay compassionate.